In this video, let's talk about some of the ways that you can build custom reports in Google Analytics to actually help you debug from a technical perspective what's happening on your site and really dive into the quality of your site. So we're going to import this particular report that Lunametrics created. It's called the Site Speed Metrics by Browser and Browser Version. And once we import it, again, the very first thing you do before you dive into the report itself, let's click on Edit and see what it's built to tell us. So in this case, it's a flat table. It's built to tell us the browser and the browser version. So again, the browser would be Chrome, Safari, Edge, and then the version of that particular browser. And then the metrics, the actual numbers that we're seeing here, are our page load time, the interaction, the page load samples. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we'll take a look at our speeds here. Again, very technical details here. So we're not looking at the results in terms of revenue or in terms of goals, but just the technical behind the scenes. So in this case, you've got Edge with the largest page load time. So you see 24 seconds on average. We've got Chrome, Android, Samsung, and other versions of Chrome that are right around the 10-second mark, some a little bit faster. It looks like back in the day. It looks like Chrome 69 is a little bit faster now. But we've got, this one could be a problem, right? So that could be a huge problem for us right now with Edge taking so long to load. There might be a technical issue there that we would have our team take a look at. The average document interactive time, so again, we've got quite a bit when it comes to that, so it's really high. Document load time, is pretty high. And then in this case, there was just the one, this is this number of samples, so not a whole lot of samples. So what I would do is we'd expand this out, because we want to confirm the hypothesis. Is Edge really a problem? Let's find out. We'll click on Apply here as we expand out, and we'll go for a few months worth of data. And we can see a little bit more, so a few more of the samples coming through here. So Internet Explorer, and it looks like all of our pages are an average load time pretty high. In fact, let's go even further here, back to June. And this is in the Google Merchandise Store site. So we see Chrome version 66, version 62 was pretty high. So this could have been something that back in the day, maybe they actually adjusted and fixed, but I actually don't see Edge in our top 10 anymore. So now it turns out with a bigger sample size, and this is why you always want to have a hypothesis and then confirm your hypotheses. But in this case, with a bigger sample size, we see that a lot, our top 10 tends to be around the 20-second mark here. So if we pull this out, I'm going to show a little bit more. So we've got quite a bit of traffic that's actually coming through. In fact, what I'm going to do, because I want to adjust this report a little bit, make it a little bit more useful for me from our perspective, I'm going to go to Explorer and switch it to an Explorer view. So that very first thing I look at, I still see all the same numbers, but I'm looking at the browser first overall, because maybe I don't really care about the browser versions yet, because I think I can kind of get in the way a little bit. So we're going to do browser, then browser version. So again, this great use of custom reports is be able to take somebody's work who does some amazing job kind of getting you to point A and say, okay, how can I make this a little bit better for my own situation? So if I'm the Google Merchandise Store, I might take a look at that, flip this to an Explorer report, click on Save, and now all my browsers are grouped together, which could make it a little bit easier for me to see which browser might be a real issue. So now I've got June through September, so that's still quite a bit larger date range there. And then I'm going to pull this through, and I can see here's my different browsers coming through. So there's Mozilla, Android, page load time, all right, quite a bit, and sorted by page load in this case. So it's got our largest page load times up front. As I come down, it doesn't look like we're doing too terribly bad at all. See everything, we've got 14 browsers total here. So there's our averages. Average page load time, much, much better when you don't break it down by versions, right? So I just want to see what Chrome was doing. So now I can click on, in fact, let's do Chrome. We're going to click on Chrome. This will drill down into the versions of Chrome. So we can see all the different versions and take a look at that. So you can see certain versions had quite a bit, certain don't. And that's why our average overall is a lot lower. So we'll take a look here. We can see there's all of our numbers. So all these different versions that are being associated in Chrome, there's a ton of versions. So we can see page load times quite a bit faster on some of these. And that's why the average, right, and the data in aggregate, in this case, not drilling down to specific versions might be something that we want to stay away from. We can actually just keep it and say, okay, well, how's our browser itself doing? But again, let's look at patterns here. So if I look at the Mozilla browser, right, so we've got Mozilla here, it's twice as high, even in aggregate, with all this data coming through, it's twice as high and has all this stuff coming through, right? And in fact, these first couple here, even the first four, twice as high as what's down here. So we have, that information is interesting. That says to me that maybe I want to drill into these. Now again, page load samples, not a whole lot of samples, definitely more on these other ones. So I'm actually going to sort it by this because I want to be able to say how many, what big sample size am I using? So most people are using Chrome. That's why you see such a more samples coming through here. So out of 10,000 samples on an average of 4 seconds, out of 1,400 samples here, an average of 4 seconds. That's not too bad. But then we can see it picks back up. So 50 samples, 30 samples, pretty decent amount. But you can see Internet Explorer seems to be, at least at this point, something where it's a little bit heavier of a load time than with the other browsers. So, which is probably part of the reason they switched over to Edge, because Edge seems to be quite a bit faster, but not as fast as Chrome. But this is, again, a great report that you can play around with to get some information. And you can see in this example how we took an existing custom report, imported it, slightly altered it, in this case moving from a flat table to more of a drill down, where I can say, okay, Internet Explorer, I can see all my browsers sort of grouped together, then drill down into the actual browser version, and we can see, okay, you know what? It was Internet Explorer 8 that was causing the problem. When they finally upgraded, it was no big deal. So of the people, 48, of my 51 page loads are really okay. It's just that 3 of these page loads were so high, that's what makes Internet Explorer look bad. And it was version 8, which hopefully not many people are using anymore, since it is so out of date. But again, this report really helps you understand the technical aspects behind your own site. Again, broken down by browser and browser version. It's one of the reasons I love Google Analytics custom reports, because they can answer such specific questions for your own situation. Definitely want to make sure that you take advantage of them.
I would love to know how you're actually using this information to improve your own marketing efforts. So if you leave a quick comment below to let us know, that would be outstanding. Also, if you like topics around Google Analytics, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the CXL channel. That way you're notified when new videos are available.